Hey again. In this video, what we will do, we want when someone click here, he show us X or O. So if first one click X, so the second one should show him O. And also, we will change the title here. So now every time he show us player one, he should show us one time show us player one time show us player two. So first of all, to get started, we need to decide, we need to go up and we need to define some variables. We need them. So we need to define three. First of all, just go ahead. I'll define here, I name it a global variables. Okay. So what I need first of all, I need active player. Active player. By default is set up to, let's suppose player number one. Okay. So the active player is the first player. So then I need list for the data for player one. I will give it this list. And I need list of the data for player two. I mean here I add what player one selected. So and here I need to add one player two selected, like what he's selected here. I need just know the active player. So by default active player is one, and by default I'm setting the title as one. So here you go. Going down, I'm calling here always this events, this button now. So if I just remove this line, I don't need it. I just need the active player. I would say, hey, if active player, that's mean equal one, that's mean he is selected. The first player is active player is X. Is that right? So I need to do something like say, hey, now I understand the active player is X. I need to do whatever I want to do. For example, I want set layouts, sending the ID, and I would send the player. For example, I suppose it is X or O, whatever. So set layout, I have to define function here for set layout. So I say define set layout that receive two things: receive the ID and receive the player sample, the sample for the player. Oh, player sample, hopefully correct. This doesn't do anything for now, but we'll implement it later on in seconds. So now, okay, if the active player is one, so I want to call this method, and also I want to set the title of the game. Now I have it by default one, so I need to set the title of the game to 2. So the player number 2 he could run. Else, what I need to show us, I need to do same thing, same this code, but the opposite. So instead of the set layout for the ID, I'm sending X, I will send O. I want to show O in the layout, and I change the active player to 1. One thing missing here, when the active is 1, I have to change it to, for example, 2. And here, when the active is 2, I change it to 1. So it could, to be more specific, you say else if active player is 2, so just more be more specific. You cannot access 3. Here is this one problem that we see it. He cannot access the active player because active player is something public here, but here I don't have access to it. So it's better to say, hey, I need to access something from global name it active player. You could do something for P1 and from global P2, but I don't think you need them because we will implement them here. We need for P1 this P2. For P1, this is after he selected the title, set layout. I need to add it. Do I say that append P1 dot? Hopefully, hey, he doesn't understand P1. He have to be able to do appends. Like, wait a second. He have to able to do append ID. So whatever ID come, I want to append it to P1. Same thing, I want to append it to P2. Okay, so just adding data in his list. So wait a second. Now, okay, just basically I know it be a really bit complex, but see it. Just active player P1, it is 1. If it is 1, set layout X. So I want to set this, so in the button that's showing app, I add X, and I add the data to the user list, set the title to player 2, so player 2 could play, and change it to 2. So next time when anyone click 2 button, he will go here. Then this one here, he come here, he changes to O, he append it to his list. If you could print here, for example, P2 data, just say P2, and this way dot format P2, you just see it in the output, and do same thing here, so you would see it for P1, the player data. So now it look everything good for me, but only one thing missing, only setting the layout. So now, hey, I'm here getting the ID, I need to set the layout. This process really easy but need too much work. So I say, hey, if the ID that coming equal 1, that's mean he looking for 1, that's mean I need to change for button 1, I want to change the config for it, the text for it, I change it to the player sample text, to the player sample. So if he send X, I will add X. If he send O, I will add O. Second thing, I want to change this button 1 to disable. So config, not config, state. I change the button to disable it. Why? Because I don't need any other player could click on this button. So because I don't need any problem in my code. So I change to the sample. I set it to the disable it. Hopefully correct. I say else if the ID equal 2. I do this process for the second item. Hopefully. So this is for the second item. For should be button 2. Same thing. And I continue 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So copy and continue. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's okay. So now let me just organize the code. So now here is it. If it's the player 3, I change this one to 3 and 3. If the player is 4 here, so I change this one to 4 and 4. If the player is 5, I change this one to 5, 5. If the player is 6, I change this one to 6, 6. If the player 7, 7, 7. If the player 9 or 8, I change it to 8, 8. Then last one, if the player 9, I change it to 9, 9. So 9, I change it to 9, 9. I'm all set. So now I think it's be a little bit clear for you. So because now, if someone click on any button, he will take the ID of that button. For example, 5, he will take 5. He will access to this from global. He check if it's player 1, he will play with the player 1. If it's the player 2 who selected, he will select for player 2. So first of all, if player 1, he set the button for that item to X. So he sent the ID on X, where is here 5 on X. So he will go here, he look for 5. He set up button 5 to the disable and change it to sample X. And he set the title to player 2, so player 2 could play, and active player, and he continue. Let me just make sure we are correct. He say, hey, we have error on this line in this line. What did I have? This, they need to be same line. Again. Yeah, hopefully he run. That's good. So now I have here player 1. If I click, see he shall add X, and he ask player 2 to play. Now player 2 could add O. So he add O. See, he move it to X1. If you see now, player 1 list have 1. Player 2 list have 5. For that reason, we create here list for player 1 and player 2. So we could add the content for the player 1 and player 2. So later on, next video, you could check who is the winner. So now, player O, see, he move it to 2. 2 could play. He could add O. Now player 1, he could play. I don't need add Java update for now. So then X, then O. So now I have to say, hey, O is the winner, because O now have some samples for the winner. So that's what I will do in the next video. So thank you for watching. Hopefully now everything is clear for you. We understand how two-player is moving, the layout, how we could add XO, how we cannot click any button again because we disable it. Here we're done, and thank you for watching.